again. Okay, now it's working. All right. Yeah, sorry for that. 1 minute of silence, everyone. I had some issues with my microphone here, but I think we should be fine again. And I'm trying to find out if, yep, we should be okay. I see the microphone working now. So, like I said, a few days ago, we had the Light Phone live stream, but today, um, we have the Dumbphone live stream, which is talking about other dumb phones, questions that you guys may have. Uh, silence live stream starts here at 1 minute, essentially. 1 minute and 21, I think it was the correct. Maybe I can cut it later in post, but as always, I'm trying to update the timestamps as we go. Um, and yeah, so hopefully this works. I see my audio coming through. If you still have issues, let me know. Um, would love to fix those. But I see the audio coming through. I don't know if it's coming through for you guys. If not, we'll just kind of restart. Let me know if that's working. Yeah. So super excited about today. Let me adjust something on the menu I just saw. I need to do. No. Focus. I think it's that one. Aha. Focus speaking. There it is. Off. Perfect. All right. Awesome. Let's get started with some updates on the Sleke Phone. So let's start with the Sleke Phone. This is technically a smartphone to a degree, of course, but it is a smartphone that only has the basics. So as you will see right here, they have a special store that you can install pretty much whatever application you want. I did a podcast with them yesterday, and I'm super excited to see them actually release the beta. So they're now in the beta stages. Essentially, they have a specialized store that only allows you to get the applications that are pre-approved in their ethos. So nothing that is distracting, nothing that is like, infinite feeds, everything that is only like available to not for communication. I think they said music or mapping applications. So as you see right there, they have a pretty healthy store, but it's not too large that you're gonna get deviated into doing other things. I personally downloaded a few things like the podcast app, Spotify for testing, a weather app, and Beeper for communication. But that's about it, and it doesn't have anything extra. So I really think that's a cool thing right there. So it's a fine phone for $300. This is what they're charging right now. It's a customized Pixel 5, so the hardware is quite nice. In that regard, you're getting a pretty up-to-date Android 14 device. So a lot of security, a lot of that stuff. They're building on top of Graphene OS, if I recall correctly. So it's one of those companies that's trying to listen. And they have a couple of nifty features as well. So like, for example, here you can create your own profile and send a contact card. And also if you go, I think it's on the other mode, they have a QR code scanner. I think it's in the apps. Yes. So they have a QR code scanner. If you need to scan a QR code, you could scan it and kind of go into a single browser area. So it doesn't allow you to it doesn't allow you to like go into any of the other kind of like websites. So it only allows you to go into one, and it does have that ability right there. They are now in beta. I'm going to put a link. So we started with that. Let me add it to the timestamps, and I'm going to put a link in the comments as well so that you guys can take a look into that. But yeah, super excited about their release. I think it's going to be a pretty successful venture. And I'm also working with them on a specific project that is not necessarily related to this phone. It's more related to like Dumbphone. So I'm going to be working on them on a project that essentially allows you to get a lot of information out there on a dumb phone, specifically dumb phones that don't have browsers or don't have any way to get any extra information. You'll be able to text a number and get responses. So we're still testing some of that. This is one of the niftiest features that they have, which is their kind of like ask a question. So I'm going to ask, what is the color of the sun? So they are employing essentially like a search engine that gets back to you with extra information. And as you see right there, the color of the sun is white. It appears white because it emits light across all visible colors, which are then to perceive as white by your eyes. I thought it was yellow, but maybe my eyes are wrong, and we are working on that. But you can ask also more relevant questions like, when is a certain event? So when is, let's see, southwest. I think I spelled it wrong. South by Southwest is an annual conference for 2025. It will run from March 7 to 15. So again, it has some relevant information right there. But again, no extra distractions, no infinite feeds, applications, except communication matters. So I think it's going to be a good project to follow up and to use. Again, just my 2 cents. Link in the comments in the chat so you can see it right there. I'll also put it in the description of this video so that you guys can have that information to everything that we mentioned. I like to keep the resources as updated as possible. Also, we'll be taking questions, so make sure to put your questions on the chat, and I'll be taking the questions from there and going into that. Okay, next product, adjacent, Dumbphone adjacent as well. Don't get this. Just being pretty honest with you. I bought it in the initial release batches because I thought that it would be a great companion to the Dumbphone experience. So this was my thinking, right? So this is the Rabbit R1. I go with my light phone, right? So I have my light phone, and you have the ability to, do different things on the light phone, right? Like, so for example, you have the ability to phone, alarm, calendar, podcast, music, but then you have this extra product, right? Like, you have this thing that maybe can help you with the other non-related queries like Spotify and Uber and DoorDash, right? So these are useful apps, if you need a snack, if you want to go and get, this whatever. But number one, the product has essentially it fell flat because they're not really working on it transparently. I would definitely support companies that are very open about their models and how they're working and their struggles. But sadly, you have this AI box essentially that does nothing. I'll try to order an Uber. I'll be surprised if it does it. I made it work once in this past month. So that's, horrible. So is the Uber service working? So let's see what it says. It's probably going to say like the Uber service is not available. Didn't even respond. This happens too. Can you get me an Uber? Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's going to work. This happens quite often. What's the color of the sun? Let's see what it says. Let me think. The color of the sun is primarily white. Okay. So there you go. It is white. It's primarily white, but it can appear in a different way. So it shows you a graphic. Very helpful, I guess. So it does work in that regard. So if you're asking questions and, kind of like doing things with, think of it as a fun box to have with you. But there are a few things that we definitely should talk about. So, namely, first thing is that they had a data breach the other day, I believe, which I didn't put any kind of like personal information here or account. I actually unlinked all of my services from this device because of how horrible it is. But let's see, Rabbit R1 security breach. There was a group of R1 jailbreakers found a massive security flaw in Rabbit's code, and it kind of goes over like what happened. They discovered API keys and yada yada yada. So the company issued a software update to on short order fixing bugs like the battery drain, and has continued to release updates since then. But again, like they had a big issue, I believe, a few days ago, and I mean, here digital trends as well, kind of showing like you may want to stop using the Rabbit R1, and essentially like this is what the API keys allow you to do. It's like read every response the R1 has ever given, alter the responses, replace every R1's voice, brick all of R1's. Again, the device has just not been positively reviewed. Number one, it does not deliver on its promises even after 2 months after its release. And it's just like sad that to see that a product that I thought that it was going to be, maybe helpful, now it's turned out to be extremely sour and not helpful at all. It does have a camera that allows you to take pictures and composes nice AI generated or cartoon versions of whatever it looks into. I wouldn't call that like amazing or like, oh wow, like you must get that for whatever reason. But again, it's just one of those things that don't get this. It's a waste of your money right now unless you want to load Lineage OS on this, or like a version of Android. Technically is running on Android, so since it's running on top, if you want to use it as an Android phone because it's a fun size, then I think maybe I can definitely see a utility in that. But there are better options like the Jelly Star, which is about the same size. If you think about it, it's definitely slimmer, and it's pretty much same fun, as this device. So don't get the Rabbit R1. I'm not even going to do a review in it. Because it's not helpful to the Dumbphone lifestyle at all. Like, I thought that, hey, I can get some queries, I can get some ideas here, but that was not the case. So, yeah. Okay. More updates. Let's talk about some updates on the... let me connect this. I'm going to show you the TTFone 970. Very good device. Get that device. Yeah, that's actually a good one if you're in Europe. But let's talk about the Mudita Kompakt now. So this is about 14 minutes in. So 0, 14, 20, Mudita Kompakt. So I have heard rumors, and I'm kind of try to stay in contact with these companies as much as I can. As you guys know, I have a job, but I try to like stay kind of like on this thing to keep the community informed. It's my biggest hobby, I guess, I've ever had. But I love it. So the Mudita Kompakt. Let me see if I can find the image that was I posted that post. It says something like linked in. Control F link. There it is. New image of Mudita from LinkedIn. So if you see right here, this is the Mudita Kompakt, or something that will resemble it. Like maybe this is not a perfect representation, but it's the Mudita Kompakt. So this device is essentially a e-ink. Maybe how I think about it is like a larger light phone 2. As of right now, this is how I'm thinking about it. There are no explicit mentions that this is how it's going to work out. Rather, we don't really have a clear representation of what it's going to look like. I mean, we do have this kind of like, hey, it may look like this. It probably will look like this, what I'm showing you right now. But it's not like guaranteed that it will look like that. So they may be some minor tweaks here and there. And let's see, let's go back to the forum main page, and let's go back to, there's another image here, first glimpse. This was kind of like the first one. Let me see. Yeah, so that's kind of like an image right there. It has wireless charging clearly, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right there. And you can join the waitlist. I've been told that this release will probably come around sometime in August. I haven't been receive any confirmation of it, but it's definitely going to be around that time frame. There was, I believe, there was one person that kind of like looked into. Let me see, where is it? Late 2024. Somebody said that in the documentation there was something like end of the year, but I believe it's going to come a little bit sooner. And again, wireless charging, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It's probably going to look like what I showed you, and going to be. I think it's exciting. You know, like a release of an e-ink device. You know that it's going to be probably solving a lot of the needs of the community. You know, having a simple interface, having a couple of tools here and there. There has not been any extra big details about it, so I'm not going to comment on things that I don't know, but I am hoping that people like look into it, and maybe we get some traction, maybe we get some like more transparency on when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen and the features that it's going to have. So yeah, so give me a second. Dumbphone Livestream. I'm a little distracted right now. June 2024. All right. Just trying to finalize the little things I need to do before I start the live stream, but I couldn't. Okay. So that's the Mudita Kompakt. We don't have much information except maybe sometime now in the next month or so, we're going to get some extra information, maybe a soft release or, a hard release. I should have shown you this, the Sleke.io page. This is the Sleke.io page for the phone that I mentioned at the beginning. And they have kind of like, hey, what to do, what's the phone like, what does it do, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. Okay, let's go over. I don't see a lot of questions, so I'll answer this one just kind of like on the get-go. Alt Companion says, can you get email on the Sleke? You can. They have a application called Fair Email or Fair Mail. Let me see. I know the logo. So Fair Mail. I think it's this one. Yeah, Fair Email, this one. Fair Email, privacy aware email. This is the one that they load. They don't have one that has extra feeds or anything that distracts you. So it's kind of just like a email client that is super basic. So that's what they have. Again, if you guys have questions, make sure to put them in the comments so that we can go over them. Okay. Next device that we're going to go over is the TTFone 970. I got this device from the UK. Excellent device in my opinion. So about 20 minutes. 20 TTFone 970. Perfect. I just charged it. It went dead last few. But this should be enough for what we are going to showcase. Okay, let's go over that phone now. Let's see. Screen capture. Perfect. Oh, I think my, sorry. There you go. Now we should be good. Okay, this is the TTFone 970. I did a review on it a few days ago. I tested it outside of the States because the bands don't really work here in the United States. Only drawback, in my opinion, is the sad inclusion of a micro USB port, but besides that, this is actually a phone that I would rock if it was available here in the United States. The reason why is because it has pretty much everything. And it does have an app store as well that you can consult and that you are able to use. I personally like that. I personally enjoy that. Sorry, my camera's acting up a little bit. So here we have F-Droid, and I can show you how that works. You can navigate with the keys, but it's, a little bit finicky. It does have a touchscreen. And if you're definitely in Europe, I definitely recommend the device a lot. I think it's actually a very good device. Yeah. So let's go over, try to downloading an app so you can see how it works. Antenna pod. It does have T9 as well. I just don't have it activated right now. Let's see if that did it. No. Okay, let me try the antenna. There it is. Antenna pod, which is my preferred podcasting application. And then you can install it. You can download it and install it, and pretty much install any application that doesn't require Google services on the device. It's a flip phone device, so again, quite nice to use and to have. You will go to settings and allow from the source. That's the APK right there, and you would install it. And then we'll go to your kind of like applications area. The device itself is pretty well built. I personally like it, and it's running Android 8.1. So a little bit of an older Android version, of course, but I mean, right there, you have access to whatever app you need. And I mean, in this case, Antenna Pod works. There are other things like mapping and that kind of stuff that can also work. Let maybe go over an example of that. And I personally think this is the model, like build a device that is accessible enough, that allows you to, have that compatibility. Let's see, maps. Boom. Organic maps, preferred map application for me. Osman is good too. Yeah. So let's go over some of that. Let's go over some of this stuff here. But personally, I think the device is definitely daily driver. It's in that category. You just need to like customize it, learn how it works. It's quirks, it's different things. Of course, it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and it does have the micro USB, which is the only, I think, kind of sad thing that the device has. But again, it's something that I'm quite interested in because of its ability. So let me show you mapping application. I personally like organic maps because it's data from OpenStreetMaps, but also because it does have this ability to use offline, right? So if you don't have the GPS acting up appropriately, you still have the ability to use the offline maps and get directions or find a place, if it has been updated on the OpenStreetMaps project. And yeah, I think those are excellent. On the contrary, we have the other device I reviewed this week, which was kind of around the same time period. It's the Emporia Touch Smart, and this one is definitely worse, although the camera is better. The camera on the Emporia, the placement is terrible, but the camera is actually pretty good. It does have an autofocus camera. I don't know if you will be able to see it here, but you can touch and it will kind of like lock in or do whatever. So it does have that extra capability. You can also have the ability to have extra applications. It does run, if I recall correctly, it does run Android 11 Go or Android 8 Go. Let me double check. But here are the chat apps that you can set up. It does come with those automatically. Let me see. About phone. There it is. Build number. Developer. Let's go. let's see, where are you? Developer mode. Where is it hidden? Okay, I'm gonna have to find it later. But if I recall correctly, it was somewhere around that. Mm, if I recall, what was it? Android 11 Go or Android? Yeah, Android 11 Go. I think it's Android 11 Go because I don't think Android Go came out until that time period. And I'll play around with the ADB. Clearly, it has the ability to do it. It just may not be as easy. Hardware version. Yeah, I don't see where the extra information is. Okay, I'll play around it. But this device is worse when it comes to the build quality. Um, I did get some confirmation of some good things and bad things. Some people said that they have been able to use it for like 2 years without any problems. So that's encouraging. But, kind of like go knowing that the build quality is not the best and that it may need some extra tweaks here and there to install applications and to do a lot of the other stuff. Okay, so right there it's looking for my location, but I can just go manually and go here to Colorado and live around the Denver area, so I can just click Denver right there and download the maps, and then I'll be able to have maps until the device actually gets my location. So you have that ability right there to kind of just use the information available and download the maps and get kind of like the data. If you want to, personally, I would say becoming an OpenStreetMap kind of contributor, it's definitely something that I recommend because you're not only helping yourself, with more accurate information, but also you're helping other people that don't want to rely on Google as their kind of like provider and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good thing to do. And I personally think that it's going to help a lot of people, kind of like get that information. Let me show you how it looks. So here is OpenStreetMaps. And when you log in, you're able to kind of contribute. So for example, if you live in this area right here and, you want to update something like, hey, this church, Our Lady of Lourdes, Catholic Church is not there anymore. You will change it and you're able to confirm that information. Pets on Broadway, maybe they changed their hours and you can start mapping and, editing a lot of this stuff pretty easily. And I think that, when you have that ability to contribute to your maps, and everybody has the ability to contribute to maps, you make the information more reliable over time. And you also help in the creation of discovery and businesses, and allows a lot of people to use specifically because Google Maps is quite restrictive to only smartphone devices. And I personally think that, a device like this, for example, the TTFone, I'm almost done with the download. But as you see right here, okay, it's still downloading. Boom, right there. So it's populating the map data, and now I can go over oh, crashed. It's quite intensive, and I do have low battery, so that may be impacting. So if you want to look for a specific route, and like a specific place, I always look for Starbucks. For some reason, it's become our Starbucks. Okay, it's not gonna do it. Oh, there it is. Starbucks. Yes. Boom, right there. It's probably not doing it because it's doing it at the global scale. But if you look on map, you're able to zoom in and probably, didn't download the whole thing completely. So we're going to have to wait. But the idea is you'll be able to look into the map application. You'll be able to look into your area. And even though, as you see, is still having difficulty trying to find my location, probably because I don't have a SIM card or I'm not on the go. Usually here in my apartment, it's quite difficult to use some of those features. Then you won't be able to have that. But as you see right there, it does give you some information. Organic Maps was actually a lifesaver for me when I was in Nicaragua. So I had the Jelly Star with me because I had to do some things for work, but I didn't have any service over there, right? Like I don't have roaming with my plan, and it was just kind of like very useful to have offline maps. We were able to find cities and drive to them without many issues. And this was also like an issue for my dad. My dad, he lives over there right now, and he needed an application that relied. He doesn't have a lot of good service either. So that was kind of like, hey, this application is super, super helpful. I see a couple questions on the side. I'll wait for maybe one more question and then we'll go over them in just a second. But again, TTFone, a good phone, definitely a top-notch Cat S22-like device. So like the Cat S22, but not as bulky, not as crazy to use and just difficult to use. Sometimes this can get heavy, but a nice phone with nice functionality for Europe. And it does not have Google Play services, so if you need that, definitely get the Cat S22 from the Amazon links. They import them pretty easily nowadays to Europe, I've heard, so that's a good thing. Okay, next phone that we have on the list coming with updates is the Mind Phone. Actually, they have been doing a good job. Let me get it from the... I will do a Q&A, then we'll do the Mind Phone. But let me be right back. All right, we are back. So this device we'll go over in just a second, but first we go over a Q&A. Let's go over Q&A, and it is at 33 minutes. Q&A number 1. So if you have any questions, make sure to put them right there so we go over them. Okay, let's see. First question is, do you still use the Kyocera 902KC? I ordered a used one. I'd love to hear your overall opinion about it. A great device if you're international or also in the United States with T-Mobile only. So I'll go over kyox.com, I believe. So Kyox sells these kind of like flip phones from Japan. They're great, and I personally like a lot of them. So you have the 903KC or 902KC. It's kind of like a twin, depending on which one. They sell them unlocked. It's a little bit expensive, on the expensive side, but I think it's worth it. These devices are quite nice, actually. And I do have a review of the 902KC. I personally, okay, here's my thing with this device. If you can learn how to use it with the mouse applications, then I think you'll be very happy. But if you find that frustrating, then something that has a touchscreen may be able to bridge that gap for you. It all depends on like what you are, truly looking into. And I mean, I think they're super stylish. They're definitely the best build quality phones that are available for most areas. Let me go a little bit right there. No, bad imaging. But again, to me, it's one of the best devices that exists because it has just like a very, very nice ability to be customized. It does have the ability to load applications. But if it works in your area and you're able to work with that difficulty of, just having the mouse and not having all of the other things, then I absolutely think it's going to be a very, very good device for you. I do have one. Give me a second. Let me go find it. Perfect. We're back. Let me show it to you. Very nice device for the price for the experience, I think it's definitely worth it. So this is the 902KC that we were referring. Super sleek, very nice in hand. This part illuminates, so it has kind of like an LED, for your whatever needs. Here's the keyboard, super great quality keys. Again, the phone is worth it. Like, I don't never have a doubt on that, because it's just like a great device in that regard. So if you're looking for something slim, something really nice, and you can live again with, you don't have any extra applications that really require your attention and touchscreen, and you need to operate them super fast, then I definitely think this is a great device. You can use WhatsApp, you can use a lot of extra applications, with the device. And I personally think that it's going to be a good phone for you if you are able to adapt to it. It's something that I think it's important. Something that I've been coming to think a little bit more about in the last few months is how the device is not necessarily the problem. It's just how you interact with the device and what it amplifies. So if your lifestyle is offline, this device is going to be a great complement. If your lifestyle is an online lifestyle, this device is going to be definitely more frustrating to use. Okay, cool. 902KC question right there. If you have any follow-ups, you can put them there. Z123 says, TTFone is okay, but the weight distribution feels strange compared to a Nokia flip phone. Yes, the weight distribution feels like it's bottom heavy, definitely. When you flip it out, the top half feels heavy. When you kind of put it back, it kind of feels like the weight distribution is not well made. I do have a Nokia here. This is a candy bar phone, the Nokia 2254G. A great device, small, super easy to use, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's a pain to use because this one doesn't have group text messaging and it doesn't get updated at all. So it's kind of sad to see, some of those things. Okay. Making their way to making it. Which big phone manufacturer do you prefer making their way to making dumb phones? Kyle, good question. I think if I understand your question correctly, you're saying like if you do have if a big manufacturer came to do a dumb phone, which one do I prefer? That's what I understand your question to mean. If that's the question, then I think someone like Motorola and Samsung have had the most history making quirky devices or different devices like that. So I personally think that those will be the best candidates. I would definitely want to see an iteration of a high quality aluminum made phone like Apple but I know they're not interested. We do have the iPhone 3, of course, that is coming next year. iPhone 3. And that one is going to be a aluminum made phone. So metal let's see, phones for going light, learn more, there it is. So they're, they have a live stream and you guys can look into that. But I mean, this is going to be a very premium device, metal, and it's going to have everything. So I think the industrial design of this one is definitely something that I'm really, really excited about because I personally like phones that last for a long time, and I'm really excited to see how they make this work with industrial design, better grade materials, and of course the prices. We'll talk about that maybe in just a second, but that's something that you kind of need to look into if that's something. But something like this, if that's what you mean by your question, I think Samsung and Motorola will be my top choices just because they've done it before and they're really interested in quirky devices. And then you have also the light phone or Apple kind of like devices. That would be nice to feel that bigger quality, difference of devices in there. Okay, more questions. Let's see. Can you use the radio on the TTFone without plugging in earphones? If yes, in closed state. No, you cannot. You cannot use the radio. I'll show you on closed, or you can use it in closed state, but you cannot use it without headphones. That's because of a limitation on the, that's a limitation on the software. So because it uses, here it is, because it uses, oh, Wait. Oh, I guess you can. I'm surprised. I did test it the other day and it did not let me. So we're gonna show you that it does work. And then we'll test. I made it work with the headphones. I guess I just didn't test because I thought, hey, this is Android. It has an FM chip. There it is, FM radio. I'm gonna find a station that I like. So let's go over. 90.1 is the CPR station. I love that station. That's pretty much all I listen to some of the times. Yeah, it's a lot. There was a debate yesterday. I don't really want to talk about politics, so you know. Um, but let's see if it works in a closed state. It does. So 67% said that uh, Biden did or Trump did. Anyways, that's enough politics for this channel. Um, let's pause and auto search. So yes, it does work with the without plugging in the earphones, which is a surprise to me. I tested the other day and it didn't work, but maybe I was just focusing on the headphone. So whatever chipset they're using for their FM radio works without it, and it does work in closed state, as you saw right there. Although, you know, that's the only thing I don't like about CPR, when they start talking about politics and it just gets like, you know, come on, like, let's move on. All right, cool. All right, cool. Next question is, how is the App Store on the 902 KC? The 902 KC does not have an App Store by default, technically. If you bought it from KaiOX, they load their own App Store. I believe they load the Aurora Store, and you're able to download every application in there with the mouse. Again, you need to install the mouse. You need to go over the process of downloading it slowly and surely, and, you know, doing all of those little things here and there. So extra points for the 970, actually. I mean, right now that I'm thinking about it, extra points now that it can work, especially the FM radio without a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is definitely a very good addition. So I definitely enjoy when companies do these little things that are quality of life improvements. Okay, more questions. So Almog, if you didn't get that, you need to load your own store if you bought it used and it doesn't have the store. But if it comes with a store, you just use the mouse, download the apps, you know, and kind of go through that process right there. Okay, let's go over Unihertz Jelly Star. There's a question about that. Have you seen the Unihertz Jelly Max announcement? Yes, I did see that. Hertz Jelly Max, the smallest 5G phone. Oh, there's a video about it from the official. Let's mute it. Okay, so who is this cutie? Okay, this is like very interesting. Okay, there it is. I guess. All right. Come on. Okay, we can really see it because there it is. So there is a new kind of phone. Definitely seems to be larger than the Unihertz Jelly Star. Probably, I would say this is 3.5 inch, 4-inch screen. What is the Jelly Star? Let's see. Jelly Star, 3-inch. Okay, so the Jelly Star is 3-inch. I can definitely see this being 3.5 inches, maybe 4. But maybe that's, let me see. Because I mean, I have a keyboard similar to that one. And here, yeah, I think it's 3.5 inch. I think it's 3.5 inch because my keyboard, let me show you guys, is similar to that one. Oh, it's a black screen for you guys. Oh, why is it a black screen? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Let me go over the website. I think that will be better. Yeah. Jelly Max. I mean, I think you guys can see it there, but home and Jelly Max. Where are you at? I think it's here at the top. Yeah, Jelly Max, perfect size, super early bird discount, coming soon on Kickstarter. Still not. So you see right there, it's compared to all of the other phones, you know, super massive. And then you have like a smaller version. But there is that keyboard image. And I'll show you. This is my keyboard, right? So it's kind of similar size. And when I put it here, compared to the Jelly Max, there's a little bit of like a top area that's still covered. So I would say it probably goes all the way up till here, like that area, like around here. So there it is. There you go. So there's the Unihertz Jelly, right? From the top, from the bottom, diagonal, but a little bit more. And you're in Jelly Max category, which I think it's about 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And that's what we know so far about this device, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I see another follow-up kind of on this same topic, which is like, I'm curious what you think of Unihertz in general, especially the minimal software support. That's why I'm hesitant to buy one of the devices. I want to use my device for a long time. Yes, so that's a good follow-up. Usually the Jelly devices don't get any updates, and that's one of the biggest bummers. I'm still waiting for me to fully recommend. I think I recommend it from a standpoint of like, hey, do you want just to like use this device for maybe like a year or two and have the ability to use, you know, all of these different things. But, you know, I'm not going to recommend it for long-term use, or maybe you could invest in like a completely different device. You know, there's a lot of conversation when it comes to this, but here's one thing that I'm going to say. It does have a lot of good performance. It does have a lot of, you know, good features for if you're looking for something very, very inexpensive that has NFC, LTE support, etc., etc. You know, it's definitely a great device. But if you're looking for something that's going to be supported, what I'm waiting for is for somebody to, I don't even know if it's Jelly Star Lineage OS. I don't know if this is available yet. I see it is. Yeah. So I think the Unihertz Jelly Star has seen Lineage OS 20 on. So you can download the image here, follow the steps, and get some extra maybe applications on the device, or like extra security patches on the device with this. So I highly recommend you would do this with your Jelly device, because it does have that ability right there to do some of these things. So Unihertz in general, they don't really update their devices, but I highly recommend you look into Lineage OS if you're going to get the device and you want to use it for a really, really, really long time. So there you go. Okay, next update or next question that we have is, are you following up on the Kickstarter Indiegogo phones? Yes, we're doing that kind of like right now. Next one that I want to talk about is the Minimal Phone. Of course, many of you have seen them. The Minimal Phone from the Minimal Company. They changed the whole look of the device, you know, and how it is. They're at $399 right now. So the original date was now in August, if I recall correctly. Does have a keyboard, e-ink screen, you know, all of these different things. They added a optional, it says optional camera here on the front. I don't know if that is going to be coming. It says optional, so I don't know if you can customize it or disable it completely. But it's going to have the 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C, speaker, stuff like that. I definitely have seen the updates, and I'm like I said, I want people to speak for their kind of like, I want people to speak from their work, not necessarily from their past. Of course, the past does influence what we think about the current, situation. But I see a lot of progress. I did see a picture on the Reddit of the Minimal Company. The Minimal. Oh, I have it here. Perfect. Okay, so this was the picture that was posted. So that's a device that looks like a prototype to me. It is still not a demo. And for me to pre-order my money, if I'm going to put my money on the line, I want to see a demo. I, have talked to Andre in the past, and I know he's probably super busy trying to release this device, trying to get it to market. This device still looks like a, kind of like a soft demo to me. Like, the hardware is there. Clearly, they have tuned that in, and kind of like looked into the clickiness probably. This is just, I don't know if it's a live screen or a simulated screen. That doesn't matter. There's a lot of progress. It looks like what they're shipping is what they are promising, right? So this is the device. This is how it's going to look. And this is how, like it's going to be. I see a lot of depth on those keys. I think that's more of a, maybe a mock-up. I don't know if the keys are going to be that deep. Doesn't make sense to me. But again, you have a lot of the full Android smartphone device. It's a minimal device in a sense because of the e-ink screen, but not necessarily super minimal in the feature set because it's running Android 14, right? So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the Indiegogo. I haven't checked that Indiegogo minimal phone. Let's see what the people are saying. So let's see. They have raised about $700,000, which should definitely be enough to get delivery on September 2024. Well, it should be enough to produce the device. I don't think it's enough to deliver it that quickly, but if they get to do it, more kudos to them. There have been more updates. Okay, here's a little bit more of what's going on. This phase has been successfully completed. The PCB and schematics. We have commenced the surfer and mounting technology, molding and tooling. That sounds pretty much on track. Upcoming milestone, engineering samples. Thrilled to announce that we will have the engineering samples ready in the coming weeks. This was posted 4 days ago. So engineering samples coming in July. Okay, fair enough. PCBA debugging, ensuring that everything is good with the PCB. That's probably going to take another 6-8 weeks, roughly, back and forth. Okay, so there it is. With the engineering samples ready in the coming weeks, we will be able to start showing hands-on videos of the device. That's good. These videos will provide you with a first look at the functionality and design of the Minimal Phone, bringing us one step closer to delivering the final product. One thing that I always read into these, maybe I'm reading too much into it, is that this always sounds like somebody else wrote it that was not human. It sounds like an AI wrote it. I don't want to, it's fine if they're using that. But AI has this maybe like tendency to use a lot of like, please, we're pleased to provide you with an update. It makes it sound like all pompous and like super whatever. And that's just something that I have noticed every time that they post something, right? So like, we're conducting essential polls to perfect the design of the Minimal Phone, and we'll love your input. Since we can run these polls on Indiegogo, it is imperative that you I would just not say that as a person. I would just say like more informal, like hey guys, we're really need your support. Here is a poll, yada yada yada. So like, I don't know why, but like every single time I hear like that AI voice in there. So again, that's just something that I'm just always like in the back of my head, right? So Minimal Phone still, I cannot recommend for you to spend your money based on the information that we have, but it seems that there's a lot of progress. I mean, there's pictures now with, this is probably a prototype device, right? Like, if this was the PCB casing and like kind of like just starting with the tooling and that kind of stuff. So that's something. Then definitely they're sharing a lot of the progress and getting some engineering samples, which will allow them to do demos. The moment I see a demo is the moment I can confidently pre-order. So like I can be like, okay, I can pre-order. I see a demo, they're working on it, they're working on top of it. And this is what I wrote about, in my post on the minimal phone a few months ago. I couldn't back it based on the evidence that I saw on the video that they posted. So that when they posted a video, they posted this thing, a lot of simulated screens, a lot of different things. This was the original device. Clearly, it has changed as a result of what happens when you go to find parts. If you're trying to make a very customized device like this one, as you see right there, the screen is very difficult. That screen ratio to find on e-ink, you have to customize it yourself, and that in and of itself is going to be a lot of money. But this screen right here, this one is a screen that is already made. It's a out of the factory e-ink screen because of the dimensions, right? So hey, it's easier to use an out of the factory screen than use a screen that is specifically customized for your device. So they probably saw a lot of these different things, and they had a lot of these difficulties, to a certain degree. But they have seemed to overcome it. They now have a different design because I'm pretty sure the manufacturer was like, hey, we can only support this design because this is what we can make faster. Otherwise it's going to take hours of engineering samples and like trying to get research and development, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully they come up with a device that actually shows up in the hands of people. That's my number one hope for them. But again, I still need to see a demo in order to pre-order. And once that happens, I'll update you guys and give you my recommendation, whether you should spend your hard-earned money or not. For $399, I think it's definitely going to be a good device. It's definitely on par with other devices that are on the premium sector. But yeah, it's just kind of like, something like that. Okay. All right. More questions. We have more questions. Yes. Once we get rolling, right? Okay, so another question is, what about the AGM guy from Reddit? There was a representative of AGM posting on the subreddit, but honestly, I haven't seen him in a while. I think they're, yeah, we'll see how that works, but yeah, don't have any updates on that. I noticed that dumb phones are getting expensive. Not really. I think the ones that are getting buzz are getting expensive, but most dumb phones are not. I mean, like if you go to the Nokia ones, for example, and these, I will definitely say these are the most basic dumb phones. These are still very, very inexpensive. Very accessible to people. $89, $49 here in the United States. If we go to the, and we should talk about HMD in just a second. Okay, you know what? I'm going to create a timestamp because we've been going for a while. Maybe at around 45, we started to talk about upcoming phones. So 45 minutes, upcoming phones. I just want to make sure that the timestamps are not too, maybe 47. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about the, okay, we were on the, price. So HMD, right? So HMD has these prices. And if we try to go to their other, I think it's here. Yes. So let's try to go to Europe. So let's go to Europe. Let's go to Germany. Feature phones. 79 euros, 69 euros, 64 euros, 29 euros. I mean, like, again, it's not that expensive in my opinion. It's just that the ones that get buzz, like the Light Phone 3, like the Minimal Phone, which are more specialized devices, they are definitely more expensive because you're not only paying for the device itself, you're paying for the updates that come with it, right? So that is something that is quite interesting to see. Okay, perfect. Next upcoming phone, we have HMD is going to release, I believe, HMD release summer. So here have the Barbie phone, which is going to be released at some point in time. It's not showing. I don't know why. Okay, there was an image. Here it is. So here is the release schedule of HMD. So here we have the May one was the Nokia 3210. So that's the Nokia 3210. You have July, 2 smartphones in July, and then the Barbie phone. So the Barbie phone is coming now in July. So sometime in July, you should be able to see that. And this was kind of like another image right there. So we should be getting more details about that pink phone. I expect it to be a KaiOS device. There was also, I expect it to be a KaiOS device, but we'll see. You know, you never know. There was another device that I want to highlight here, is TCL. No, Alcatel. Alcatel Go Flip 5, I think. No, TCL Go Flip 3. So many Go Flips. There was a Flip 3 release from TCL a few days ago. I'm still trying to procure the device. It is on Verizon only. And I believe they sell it on Walmart. It's a KaiOS device, KaiOS 3.0. It's a flip phone, and you'll be seeing a review from me as soon as I'm able to procure one. Not easy to find on my Walmart, at least, so I'm still waiting to see if I can get one. As always, I purchase the phones because I want to give my, unbiased opinion about whether you spend your money or not. So there you go. Another phone that is coming out, and there's a question on it. It's the Balance phone, and the Boring phone too, actually. So Boring phone. I'm going to be pretty honest with you guys on these things. So the Balance phone is a phone that essentially uses Android, customizes it, and delivers you with the ability to not have any of the addictive apps and websites, only the things that you need, etc., etc. You can get the Balance phone, or kind of like get an idea. I believe they said it was going to be like $349, $399. This is just a customized Android device, but I welcome these companies bringing these devices because I think it's important. I just hope that they continue to support it and that they just don't leave it hanging in the back. So as you see right here, it uses a very basic launcher. This is probably before launcher or something along those lines. And then it has the ability to run essentially all the useful apps and the things that you actually want, but not the apps that you don't want. Like, so for example, right there, music, food delivery, banking, without everything you don't, everything you need without everything you don't. No social media are blocked. Streamings and websites are blocked. Games are blocked. Betting is blocked. Adult content is blocked. Again, depends on what you want in your life and that kind of stuff. So it has these very useful things, but not the things that you don't want to get. There's no pre-order yet, but you can get a launch invite. I'll probably eventually review it, but again, you can do this yourself, and that's something that we need to talk about. So then you have the Boring phone as well. Tired of being controlled by your phone? It's time to change. Introduce BP2, the next generation of tech that respects your time and attention. How is BP different from the original one? Well, here it is, the kind of like demo. You can set it up. Extra information. Boring phone is supposed to be something very basic, and it was, but they took forever to release their second version, and that's why they're kind of behind on this specific device. Okay, let's see. More questions. Similar to Sleke, yeah, similar to Sleke. I think all of these are very similar. All of these devices are very similar, right? So it's like Sleke, um, the IO. They essentially have an operating system that allows you to only do certain things but not do other things. I personally think that it's fine to have these, but I also want to say that you can do this yourself, right? So, like, if you want to set up your own device with ADB, you learn how to do it, you ask some extra questions here and there, you will have the ability to get with that device. Yeah. Okay. And again, I don't think there's a bad thing. Actually, I found an app. I'll show you this. So I've been testing this for the last few days on the iPhone. So there is this app called Dumbify. And it's essentially the same, or the first concept, right? The concept of like, hey, what are you going to do with the device that you already have? So if you, let me put this on the footnotes at what time? 1:07. Okay. I do have to run at 1:30, an hour and 30. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments on the chat so that I can get to them, because I do have to go in about 30 minutes. Okay. So here we have an iPhone, right? And right now it looks like any other iPhone with a lot of apps and a lot of different things. But if you want to simplify your experience, first, delete all your apps. I actually wrote a little blog post on this on the Dumbphone Finder. I'm going to maybe do it better in a few days, but you have smartphone hacks, remove or restrict apps, right? So delete anything that is unnecessary. So that's always the first thing. Disable notifications, simplify your home screen. This is what we're going to do right now. Limit internet access, use basic phone modes or apps. So this is just 5 steps to a minimal smartphone, right? So if you think that you need a smartphone for whatever reason, you don't want to give up, you need to simplify your experience, right? So you first delete the apps, you then like look into other things. So we're going to add a widget, and let's say I want, for some reason I want, I don't know, let's see, phone, widget 1, shortcut required. Yeah, okay, so it's going to be loading of the shortcut. Shortcut. Okay. Let's go to messages, widget 1. Then let's go over Google Maps. There it is, widget 1. And then let's go over podcast. Okay. Let's see, Pocket Casts. So I'm kind of showing you a little demo of like how to customize it. Podcast. No, shortcut. Request. What is that? Oh, no. That's not what I meant. Create. Perfect. All right. So rename the shortcut. Shortcut, etc., etc. Okay, so now you customized it. This is the widget, as you see right there. I have phone, messages, Google Maps, and podcast. So that's the first widget. We want to definitely add that widget into our screen. So let's go over that section right there. And let's try to find the widget. Let's try to search for it. It's not showing. I started playing with this just yesterday, so I'm not like super good at it. So let's create, it also gives you a wallpaper, so you can save that. The idea is that you will create, kind of like a wallpaper to it. Let's see, edit, done, okay. And then tutorials, maybe I just need how to add apps, how to sort apps, how to add shortcuts, how to set wallpaper, quick start guide. Okay. Get me up and running. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty new to this. Yeah. Okay. There it is. So now, how do I add it? Okay. Here it is. Plus, yeah, that's what I did. Oh, it's all the way at the bottom. Ah, there it is. Dumbify launcher. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to add it. And find it. Aha, there it is. Dumbify launcher. Perfect. So add the widget. Boom, right there. Look at that. Okay, now this looks ugly because it's kind of like set up, you know, differently. So now let's remove all of these apps from the home screen. Yeah, I don't care. Okay. So now that we have simplified this, now we should also, how do I edit the wallpaper? I think I need to go to pictures. Yes. So go to pictures. Give me a second. Let's go to photos. And yep, right here. Set up as a wallpaper. Okay, it's preparing. Add. Set as wallpaper pair. Yes. Okay, so that should work. Yes. There you go. All right. So now we have definitely simplified the experience. And we have essentially a phone, messages, Google Maps, and podcast. And when I press phone, it automatically goes to the phone. It uses the shortcut app. Allow, Dumbify, yes, so always allow. Messages, we'll go to messages. Google Maps, open. Yep, podcast. Don't have the podcast app, so it's probably just not going to it's going to ask me to download it. So I will download it, and it will get me to that. You can also delete these. Let's delete this. Remove from home screen. And as you see right there, we have a, let's see, can I make this bigger? No, but I can. Okay, there it is. So it's a pretty minimal experience, right? With the device, right? So you have phone, messages, Google Maps, podcasts, and you could expand it, of course, like, you know, if you wanted to with this app. But why am I showing you this? Okay, so like we went over this, and the idea is like, okay, you make your experience simpler. You delete all the apps that you don't need, and then you restrict your access with something else. So I'll show you now what I think can complement this. So something like Brick. So Brick is an app that allows you to have a cube, and when you tap the cube, right, you scan it, and then it does not give you access to it. Let me bring my Brick back, so I'll be right back. We're back. Okay, so the idea is this. So you have a brick right there, and you tap it. And now when you go to your apps that are distracting, it's going to tell you this is a distraction. Look at that. So it bricks your device for you. So you make your experience simpler, easier. I loaded all of these apps. I always just keep them. I don't use this phone as often as I used to. But I've been testing this past week because I'm like, oh, hey, I want to use Libby, right? Well, I still can, clearly. Just still have the ability to listen to my audiobooks, but I cannot go into my email because this is a distraction. And until I'm bricked, I cannot use it. But I can go again, tap the device, and then I can go on Reddit or whatever this game is. Boom, right there. Look at that. Supercell. Yay. So you have all of the apps that you need and none of the ones that you don't. and then you can customize that, of course, within the brick system. You can go and like kind of go into like, okay, which apps do I allow list, customize default apps, and you're able to select there like, oh, okay, I want this app charge point because it's helpful to me. I want this other thing. And then when you're done customizing all of that, right? I want this one game, or I want this social thing to be available to me, or this specific category, information, I want Substack, I want this other, app, Havenly, to be accessible now because I'm doing whatever. Oh, sorry guys, that was okay. Let's go back. I think we were a little. My camera was not working there. So yeah, you go to default mode, you customize. You want to allow that game. You want to allow that. Oh, definitely. I want to allow Babel because it's helpful to me, right? So you brick it, you tap it, and now everything that you didn't allow, it's blocked. And everything that you allow, let's say Babel, right there. Okay, you can continue learning your language and not, be distracted. So there you go. That's how it works. So I've been testing this, the Dumbify app plus the brick to see, hey, this actually is helpful. This actually can work. More testing to come in the upcoming weeks about different devices, etc., etc. So we'll go over that. One more device that I want to talk about is the Mindphone. These guys have been working on updates. So this is the Mindphone. They've been working on kind of like how everything works, how everything feels, the kind of like accessibility, and what's available for the device. And they have had a lot of updates. So it's not that super basic anymore. It's not just a basic device. It's actually quite snappy. They're working on like the many different things for the device. It does not have a D-pad, so you do have to use a lot of your touchscreen real estate to navigate through it. Then you have, I talked with one of the founders, and they're going to be coming up with extra updates. I believe they're going to try to introduce offline maps. They do have an updater, as you see right here. And in the updater, you can find, of course, updates to all of the apps that they have. And you can update your apps accordingly. Let me see. What else? So stay tuned to this device. They still have a promotion, I believe, on US Mobile for this device. And shop. Let's go to shop. Okay, let's see. Where are you at? Maybe not anymore. Let's see. Mindphone, US Mobile. Yes, there it is. It's just hidden, kind of hidden. Oh, it's out of stock. That's why it's not showing. Yeah, so still highly recommend US Mobile. So if you want a Mindphone,